My dear son, Artemy, I write to you after so many years apart in the hopes that you may find a way to return to us.
Hey, hello, I'm Kråkan, also known as Chorus Cornic, so welcome to YACC, yet another Crowcast, where I pick a game, I play it for a week, and then I talk about it. This week's game is Pathologic 2, The Marble's Nest, and was made by Ice Pick Launch, Gaming Development, and Tiny Build. And there will be spoilers up ahead, just so you know. So a little bit of backstory. I played the game back in the day, the original. It came with a magazine, and you got these like demo DVDs. So I played the original. And my first impression of it is it's really weird and strange and different and dark and bleak, but it's a very different type of game actually. And so I got the idea, like, maybe I should play this game again. So I know like the game had a remaster back in like 2 or 3 years ago, so I went on PSN and checked. But to my surprise, there was a Pathologic 2 and it had DLC. So I was like, okay. So I downloaded the game, the DLC, which is kind of funny. There's like the main game is obviously a little pricey, but the DLC was 1.1 megabyte, and it was like $10 or something. So that was kind of stupid. 1.1 megabyte, $10. Yep, stupid. But anyway, the game starts. Pathologic 2 starts with you receiving a letter from your father, and he wants to meet you basically. So you're a doctor by trade, or like a training to be a doctor, and your father is the doctor of the town, and he wants to discuss something with you. It's kind of urgent. So you get on a train, and this is where things start to get really weird. There is this guy on the train that pops out of a coffin, and the choices are kind of weird in this game, but you get like dialogue options, and you can kind of ask him like, is this your preferred way of travel in a coffin? He says like, well, it gets you around basically. You can get anywhere in a coffin. And at this point you don't really know if your character Artyom no, it was Artemy. You don't really know if he's asleep or awake. So all these kind of strange things happen, and the train stops. And you get out of the train, and you walk around like to a house, and you find these kind of mime kind of characters. Like, they're all dressed in black with white masks, and they're kind of observing you. And it's kind of like a creepy kind of situation. You walk into the building, you find some stuff, and you leave. You're supposed to bring water to a girl there, is in a bed or something, but when you return, she's gone. And there is this kind of plague doctor-esque character. They actually look like very big birds with creepy glowing yellow eyes. So these characters, like the mimes, appear in the game as guidance to help you on the way. They're kind of like, they help with advice on how to play the game. And apparently you are the only one who can see them. And the witch doctors, or these kind of plague doctors, bird creatures, they kind of appear in like that middle dream kind of section. I don't really know if they exist or not, or if it's just in their mind, or if they're like other dimension kind of characters or dream-like entities. I don't know, but whatever. You wake up in the train, you realize that it was all a dream, and you arrive at this town, and immediately you get attacked by 3 thugs basically, and you dispatch them pretty quick with like a scalpel or something, and they're dead. But this is the part which I really don't like about this game. You get framed for the murder of these 3, and you also get framed for the murder of your own father, which is kind of strange because you just arrive, and how can you have killed your own father? Why would you kill your own father? But obviously the thing is, you're supposed to find out who killed your father, and you have like a certain amount of days before this will sort of happen, I guess. So the game takes place under 12 days, and there's also this kind of weird thing with a plague going on, and people are dying, and there's a murder on the loose, and you try to find this guy. And anyway, so you go to your father's house to like see what's going on. So he's been murdered. So there's like a crowd of people, and there's like, how do I explain this? Artemy's father and his family he's a doctor, the doctor of the village of this town, but he has also these ties to old traditions, like the steppe people. So if I didn't tell this already, this game is highly inspired by Russian kind of style and thinking before the society of it, I guess. It's very dark, very bleak. So there's this steppe culture, and right before you even enter the town, you actually confront some of the steppe people, and he learns how to... He teaches you how to fight, basically. There's like a tutorial stage where you learn how to use inventory, how to talk, how to survive, basically. Anyway, you learn how to fight. And this is also a weird kind of thing. I don't know if it's a dream or not, but you exchange your heart with his, because your heart is rotten and decayed for some reason, and he gives you your heart. So there's like, how does this happen? Well, you open your inventory and you just switch places. And I was like, wait, did he rip out his heart, or what is going on? Really weird. Anyway, back to the funeral thingy, or the death of your father. So in front of the house, there's this huge crowd of people. They're just mourning his death. And you arrive and you get accused of murdering him, actually. So now the whole town is after you. So you're just trying to survive. And that's part of the mechanic of the game as well. You have these elements that you have to think about all the time. And let me just see. So you have these attributes that you have to think about. Their exhaustion, you can replenish this by sleeping. And there's infection, and you can have sort of medicine for that. And there's health, which you can restore by bandages and stuff. And there is hunger, well, you obviously need to eat something. And there's thirst, and you have to drink. So all these kind of things, they go down, and you get, well, it deteriorates you during time. So you have to think about this. But it's kind of hard because the whole town is after you at this point. So the only certain places you can shop. There are like pharmacies, and there are, well, basically food stop and clothes stop. And there are other quest-related things, I guess. But you can buy certain items in these shops, and these are really expensive. You can buy like fish and bread and egg, but they don't replenish much health, and they're really expensive, and people don't like you. But lucky for us, there's like 2 or 3 options at this point. You may be an outsider now because you left the town to pursue your medical career and return because of your father. But now you have 2 or 3 choices, I guess. You have an old friend. A girl, not a girlfriend, but a friendly girl, I guess. She lives on the other side of town, and you basically go there, and you investigate a house. You talk to her, and she's kind of sad that you've been gone for so long, like 5 or 7 years. But you talk to her, and she agrees to help you in your quest by talking to the townsfolk, kind of damper the effect of the mob, I guess, because in some areas people will flat out attack you because they think you murdered the only doctor in town. Weird, yeah. So anyway, she agrees to talk to the townspeople, but before she does that, you need to eat something and sleep. So I was like, okay, how do I do this? I went into the kitchen area, where it's like, I started to go through all of her stuff, and I found this like drawer, and this kind of a funny mechanic. You press X to interact, so you open up the like a normal drawer, like a cloth drawer, and there was like fish in there and bread, and I was like, okay. So I ate that, and then I was like, how do I sleep? Where do I sleep? I couldn't find a bed, so I was like, okay, I couldn't find a bed. So after figuring out some other stuff, you can save in specific places. There's like a watch, an old-time watch. You save your game there. And then I found out, okay, you can sleep on a couch. I have to look that up before I... How do you sleep? That's kind of funny. So anyway, you sleep there, and the next day you get some help from this old friend girl, like how... And she talks to the town people, and now you are accepted to walk outside at least. So now you start to explore and try to get to understand the things. So now you get some pointer scenes, and it's like you kind of explore, and you find out, like, you trade things. You trade like drugs and medicine from children for some reason. And you can trade with random people, like with various like herbs and stuff. And there's like a fast travel system also with I think they're called fingers, and the currency is called fingers. And there's like these old coins, and there's the ferryman takes them as currency to like fast travel to different places, so you don't have to go through these dangerous areas. But these tokens, or fingers as they're called, are really expensive as well. So anyway, you kind of explore everything. And then you have like this system. You talk to people and you get like quests, but they're called thoughts in this game. So you get a bearing to where you're supposed to go. And so you kind of talk to people, and you get, the more you help people and talk to them, the more they like you. So, for instance, in the town, people don't like you very much. You're an outsider. But outside of the town, in the steps, they kind of like you, and you're always welcome. So there's like this tagline or underline. So you enter like the burrows, or you enter the docks or whatever, and under it says like, you're not welcome here, or you're hated here, or you're very much welcome here. So it's like this funny thing. You enter a new area, and you don't really know beforehand. Well, I guess if you look at the map, you kind of know, but I was like, I'm going to take a shortcut here from this area to this, and everyone hated me, and I was attacked, and I was killed. And that brings to another mechanic up, like, it's not bad to die in these games, because then you get treated to, like, a cutscene. There's like a crypt, I think, and you walk down a crypt, and there are 3 dead men, and they're dead, but you can talk to them, and you kind of try to figure out this puzzle. And maybe it's more like a mindfuck, I guess. And then you return up from the crypt, and you're greeted with this dream creature, this big bird, like Plague Doctor again. And you talk to him, and he actually says, like, do you want to relive this thing again? Will you do the same thing over again as you did before? And all of a sudden you cut back to you arriving off the train, and you can choose not to kill or not these guys that attack you. So I chose like the pacifist round, like they attacked me but I did nothing, and then I woke up. So this game really throws you out there. And anyway, there's this other mechanic. You can sleep through the day, but then you miss certain events, and I didn't know about this. This game is good in different ways, I guess, because it doesn't hold your hand as much. But that's good, but that's also, you have to figure out stuff yourself, like how you need to eat and drink to survive. You need to think about your health and your exhaustion. You need to sleep. You need to save. And this game doesn't have autosaves. So there's certain places you can't save. It's kind of an interesting concept anyway. So what I did was, I was tired, so I went to sleep. Because the duration of the time make things go forward. So people hated me less when I was sleeping, but then I wake up in this dream kind of scape, and I went up this tower, and there was this talking mouse, and I was like, what is going on? And I don't know what. And I woke up in the middle of the night, and I got instructed, you can go to this like theater house, you can get some hints. And this like weird play, because you are up on the stage, but you're also observing yourself, and you get questions, or the actor gets questioned what to do relating to his father. Really weird to explain. But anyway, I woke up and I did some errands. I met this character called Vlad, and he's the mayor of the town. He agrees to help me and talk to his people about trying to find a killer, or just talk to people to calm them down. And then I went to the police station and actually talked to them. I was still a suspect, but they were not gonna take me in, basically. So there's like this kind of limbo situation. So I'm trying to find a killer, and yet not. And then what happened was, I investigated. I got the keys to my father's house, and I went there, and I went in there, and I like went through all the stuff. And there's kind of weird, because the house is left in the state that it was during the investigation. So you walk down to like the basement, and you find like your father's herb supply. He made medicine, basically. And you walk up to the top floor, and there's this creepy whisperers, like family memories and everything, and it's really creepy and airy, but really gets you in the game. You're really scared. So you find like your dad's stuff, you go through, you find a scalpel, you find these useful items, and there's this locked door, or this closed door, and I opened it, and there was like this black kind of fog thing, and I remember that from the first game. So I was like, I'm gonna shut the door, this is the plague, I'm not letting the plague out. So apparently the plague started in your father's house, really weird. But anyway, you go into the room where the murder actually took place, and you get this key. And this key leads you to the factory, or the place where your father did his research, because he's a doctor. So I got really scared. I just went out the door, and there's this other character which is in the DLC, The Bachelor. he's called a bachelor because he has a bachelor degree of medicine. He's not a doctor, but he deals in medicine, I guess. So anyway, he asks you if he can investigate or look into the house, and I chose the option to, sure, no matter what you find, just tell me what you find when you're done. And then I went down to the steps. I went in the location of the steps and checked out my father's kind of workplace. And there's like this broken machine that you need parts to fix. And there's you can actually do some operations and stuff. It's kind of an interesting concept. And there was this kid there, and I went to talk to him. And then I was supposed to go to my father's funeral. And I haven't really played much beyond this. I think this is in like day 3 or something. But I went out to the steps, and so the burial will happen at dawn. So I gotta find some evidence. So I went out there, and there's like all these people that are welcoming me and telling me that they're feeling remorse and they're sorry that my father died and everything. And then there is this ceremony, but for some reason the earth won't take your father's body. You won't accept it. So there's something weird about your father's body. You don't really know what it is. Maybe it's the plague, or maybe this is just the start of the whole craziness, because this game is actually a 12-day game, basically, in-day games. So I played a little bit more about that, and I got angry because I didn't save, so I have to redo a lot of stuff just to get to that part. But that's what I played about the main game. But the Marble Nest, the DLC, the 1.1 megabyte one, it takes place with the other character, the Bachelor, and it's on the 12th and last day. You're basically trying to help people in this kind of plague situation. And it's a really weird scene where you're in this house and there's a lot of dead bodies, and the plague is just outside the door. And you talk to these people, and they're inside, and things are hopeless. And so you're supposed to get like an item, but there's someone sitting at the door, and she moves. You can go into this other room, and this guy kind of has had enough of you, and he challenged you to a fist fight. And I beat him down, obviously, and I took the stuff in the chest. And then I went down the hall, and one of those creepy plague doctors were there, and they basically left the house. And at this point, the Bachelor, he kind of was like all like the exhaustion, infection, health, hunger, thirst, all these meters are red. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna take all these painkillers, I'm gonna eat what I can, and then you basically leave the house, and that's the DLC. That was a mouthful. But anyway, gameplay. Well, the gameplay is sort of it's basically a survivor game, a horror game, and a very artsy game at that. And it's a very special game. I don't know. Maybe it's more of a metaphor also, like a play, because they have like this theater kind of plays, and there's a very specific kind of art style to it, I guess. And then the control. The left sticks move, the right stick look up and down, right and left. And then X interacts, and the L button kind of locate things like signs and people so you can see them in the dark. They basically get like a border around them. And the R button readies your weapon, I guess, or whatever you have at the disposal, like a lance or your fist or a scalpel. And the D-pad on the left acts. You can access the map, your thoughts, and your inventory, basically. And the graphics, well, they look really good. They look really good if you compare to the first one, I guess. But anyway, when you talk about design, you talk about colors and how they pop. There's very little popping going on, I guess. There's like these dark tones. So you have brown, yellows, and blacks, and reds, but they're very sparsely used. So you can go out in a plane, and to explain it, it's like yellow grass, and there are black stones in circles. You can kind of paint like a vivid picture of that, and it's wind is blowing, and there is like these traders and whatnot. And inside the town, there's like dirt. It's dirty, and it rains, and all these kind of houses look like towering over you. Kind of, it's a bit scary. You kind of feel like you're cramped in. So the graphics look really good. There's some weird kind of pop-ins here and there, but it's fine. And the sound and music is really good because the music is creepy and it's like an ambient track, so it's always there. The original Pathologic had like a techno beat, and it was really weird because it didn't fit the tone. But I think, well, it is. Pathologic 2 has like these choir moments where they sing in some weird language. I think it's Russian or Polish, maybe, I don't know, or some old language. It sounds really cool anyway. And you have the ambient. The audio is really scary because you're on your seat the whole time and you go into this building, but there's no one there. But you get scared by like you actually get scared by like the helping kind of characters, like the mimes, because they pop up like if you go upstairs and you go downstairs, they stand there like and they give you tips. So they're like really creepy. So in conclusion, well, this game, I can't really recommend it to anyone because it's a really specific kind of niche genre, if you will. So you can't really say like, oh, you have to play this game. I actually asked one of my friends, Spyware, on Discord, like, what do you think of the game? And she was like, it's different. It's kind of like, how do you explain all this? You gotta like, the best way would actually be like, go on YouTube and look on like Pathologic 2, and you can go like, okay, this is really weird, like this Soviet kind of era, kind of creepy, weird, what is this? I can't really recommend it, but it's just very, very different. But this game has some really problems, and there's also a reason I can't really recommend it. The load times are crazy. They're like, when you start up the game, it's like almost 1.5 to 2 minutes just waiting for that bar to fill up, and then okay, then you're in the game, and then okay, I want to go into my inventory, so I press up on the D-pad to see the map, and then it loads again, and I was like, what? Okay, it loads for like 10 seconds, and then you get into the menu. You can poke around your stuff, eat, drink, whatever. And damn it. And there's like, okay, well, I'm done. Then I was like going outside, and then I had to load the area outside the house, and I was like, what is this? And there's frame drops, and there's like, the game freezes sometimes, and it's kind of frustrating because you're just trying to act like cross a road or enter a house, and you have to load the interior, and textures popping in, and they're kind of blurry, and then they kind of fix themselves. And I was like, okay, it feels unfinished. I love the game. If they can like remove the frame drops and the load times, make them shorter, it would be great. But this game has been out for like almost 2 years, I think. I don't know. Yeah. But anyway, I can't really recommend this game. That one. But I wish I could actually, because it has all it kind of checks all my boxes, but there are too many frustrating parts with it. It doesn't help. It doesn't hold your hand at points when you probably need to explain like, this is how you do. There's actually one thing I forgot to tell you about, the hobo economy. And that's kind of a funny thing. The hobo economy is like, everything is worth something to someone, right? It's kind of obvious. So you go through trash and you find like these, like a needle and thread, you find empty glass bottles, and you find all this stuff. And some kids won't trade with you if you don't have like a needle and thread, for instance, because okay, this is really weird. And others maybe want water, so you gotta give them water bottles, and you find those in trash cans. And some people don't want your stuff, and you need to constantly buy things to survive. Like, you need to eat. You have to have like, there's so many things that they could have made easier, like make the health items, the food, replenish more hunger so you're not hungry. But they only a little bit, like, there's too many weird stuff with this, I guess. Now I'm getting upset over this. I can't recommend this, but anyway, thanks for listening and watching, and take care.